Okay, the number one reason why your 8.6 is slow, or why you think your 8.6 is slow, there's two reasons. The first one is very well documented and very well known, is called the torque dip. And the torque dip is a sudden loss of power somewhere in the middle of the power band. If you look at forums and then you look at all these YouTube videos, they'll all explain the torque dip very well. So I'm not going to go into detail with that. But the second reason nobody talks about, it's quite interesting because it's psychological. It's a psychological obstacle. The first mod that people usually do when they buy a new stock 8.6 is exhaust. They want to make their car louder. I've owned 9 cars, and there's probably no car I've owned which I haven't modified the exhaust on. So I get it. But all the juice is at the very top. At the very top. And so for this car, you really want to climb up there and stay up there. If your car is really, really loud, even at the low revs, then that's actually a psychological obstacle for you to even get to 5,000 something RPMs. Why would you constantly go to 5,000 RPMs, if you sound like an obnoxious asshole that wants to race everybody all the time? The worst psychological aspect of it is that there's a certain depression that hits you when you're dancing around in the low revs. You're looking for power, and your car sounds like it has power at the low revs, but it doesn't have any power. So that's depressing. In stark contrast to the Miata, people that are buying the new Miata ND, they hardly do anything to their car. Usually they just buy tires and brakes. And so their cars are relatively quiet. And because of that, they're always up there. They're always pushing it to the limit. And so it never actually feels slow. And the reason why I've noticed this, I'm at a stoplight and I'm side by side with Prius. And the second the stoplight turns green, I'm not trying to wake up any car alarms. So I'm kind of like just barely edging it in and just trying to be soft on the pedal. And I'm not going anywhere. But that Prius shoots out like a bat, like out of hell. And because he doesn't make any noise, he can punch it. So that's why I think sound is actually really critical to you enjoying this car, or any car for that matter. Who wants to have a car that is super loud, doesn't go anywhere? The sound of the car has to be proportional to the power. There's two things you can do. The first one is, if you really want a more aggressive sounding volume, there's 5 parts to the exhaust. You can modify any one of the 5 parts except the overpipe, and it'll just change one, and it'll be louder. The second thing that you can do is just to change the header. The header will give you the sound, plus it can help you remove the torque dip. So that's 2 for 1. Remove the header, you tune it, of course you have to tune it, and then that's it. The torque dip's gone, and it sounds great. Well, let me show you. See? That's really nice, but it's not overly loud. Because even after you remove the torque dip, trust me, you're still going to spend all day 5,000 RPMs, past 5,000 RPMs. Because that's where the fun is. Even though the torque dip's gone, it's not a lot of torque. That's always been the tradition of 8.6, whether it's this new one or the older one, the AE86. These are cars designed where you're just mashing on it. You're just pushing it to the very edge. This car becomes alive and it's a joy to drive up there. You have to get up there. So you have to figure out how you can get up there comfortably. When I first bought this car, it was really loud, and I enjoyed it on the freeway, but cruising around town, it wasn't all that great. I felt like, oh, this is kind of slow. even though I knew what the problem was. There's like not much power at the low end. But then I quickly realized that I have to get up to the high end even on the street, because I want to be able to enjoy this car at any point in time. So I had to reduce the sound. So I went on eBay and I bought the stock front pipe with the cat and the resonator, and I put that back in. My driving style changed. I didn't stay around in the low revs anymore. I found that I could comfortably get up there all the time. And then this car is freaking fantastic after that. So just remember, if you just bought this car, you modded the exhaust because, you know, you want that aggressive sound. You're driving around town and you're starting to feel dissatisfied, like buyer's remorse. Sound may be something you overlooked. You may want to keep the car quiet. But if you want to make the car loud, kind of level out the power along with it. Like make sure you have the sound match the power. That's all there is to it, really. Hope that helps.